get this whole thing started. So here's what I'm doing. I was going to be building something anyway, so I figured I would just do a live stream and show you exactly what it is that I'm doing. So if you're a SuperBrain user, this is to give you some ideas, and I'm going to be doing a lot of these. So every time I build stuff, I'm going to try and just throw on the screen share and show you what it is that I'm doing. So here's what today's is about. I wanted to build an expense tracker into my Notion, and one that I could use my AI tools to help me with. So the idea is that I should be able to, when I'm out and I buy something for the business, I should be able to just snap a picture of the receipt and have that go into an expense tracking system, fully automated and everything. Or I should be able to just take, any sort of receipt that I get in my email and add that to this expense tracking situation. So what I did was I had to build an expense tracking database. Pretty simple. I'll show you what it looks like. Pretty simple to make. And then I have to set up, I have to build a new role and some skills into my SuperBrain. I'm going to show you how I do all of that and how it takes, this whole thing will probably take me 2 or 3 minutes to really kind of get set up. Call it maybe 7 minutes and it'll be completely done. So I'm going to show you how it works right now by sharing my screen just as a starting point. And there. Okay, here we go. So here's what I got going on is I built this expense tracking database. I just opened up a brand new database. And what I did is I created a field for transaction date. This is just a regular date property. I changed this from name to transaction. I did a number field, amount. I have a select field of vendor or company. That way I can start to see which ones happen consistently. Add a little transaction note just in case there's something I need to add into that. And then I'm going to have in here the different methods of payment that I have so that I can track, like, do I need to be reimbursed or not? Which actually reminds me, I should probably have in here a checkbox reimburse. So that way, like if I pay with my personal credit card, I can just say, oh, I'm going to reimburse myself. So that one wasn't. And then I have here expense categories, and this one's currently empty. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my researcher to go and find all of the major categories and fill in this list of categories here. So that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to do. The second thing is I already have a role named Penny. Wrong role, wrong skill. I already have a role named Penny, and I'm going to build an expense tracking skill for Penny. So I don't have any information here just yet, but I will. But let me just show you Penny real quick. Penny is a role that I built a little while back for data and analytics and financial forecasting, things like that. Haven't really done much with it since I built Penny, but here's Penny and the whole list of things. So I just gave it expense tracking in the operational resources. So that's this database right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a skill for Penny. And if you needed a role, I show you that in another thing because I do have a bunch of roles to create. But for today, let's just assume you have the role. And here's how you're going to build a skill. Here's how you're going to have everything the way you want it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right into the expense tracking database. And I'm going to open up my little Notion thing right here. I'm going to say become at Scout. Scout is my researcher. Please find all of the main categories of deductible business expenses. Let's find all of the most up-to-date and common categories of deductible expenses, business expenses, and fill them in to the expense categories. Categories. There we go. Field. I think that's all I got to do. I'm gonna hit enter. So what's going to do now is it's going to go out. It's going to find. So Scout is a researcher. It has a bunch of different, and it comes standard with the SuperBrain 3.0. So what it does is it'll just go out and it'll research. It has a very high level, a very high bar for credibility. So it's not just going to go and bring back some silly sources that you've never heard from before. It's going to go out. It's going to figure that out. It's running its boot sequence first. So it's just going to log that we're having this thread and what the request was. And now it's going to go and find that information. And then it'll fill it into the expense categories. So that's the first thing. While that's happening, what I like to do while the AI is doing its work is I'll go over to the task itself here. I'm going to show you what I actually like to do, which is I like to just dictate to it what I want this skill to be. So I'm going to use the meeting AI notes here. So while it's doing its thing over here, I'm just going to transcribe uh, to my Notion what it is that I'm looking for it to do here. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to hit exit, and then I'll show you how I work with this. So for this expense, I would like the ability to deliver expenses in a bunch of different methods. So I'd like to be able to take a picture of a receipt. I'd like to be able to describe an expense in words. And I would like to be able to have the AI search my email for relevant business expenses, which I'll give a specific label for. And then bring all of that information into the new expense tracking database that I've provided to Penny, and categorize all of the expenses, apply the right date to it, and fill in basically all of the different fields. And so the goal of this is so that I can more easily track my expenses by simply taking a picture, pointing to a particular email, or describing it just in words. And that's basically what the whole skill is going to be. All right, so what you can see there is that it really didn't take me that long to describe what I'm looking for there, but I'm just going to go back right here real quick and check on the expense categories here. But what you'll see is that in the expense categories, I now have all of the expense categories that I'm looking for. It says here business meals 50%. Not exactly sure what that means. Let's just take a look. Meals, where are the meals one? Here we go. 50% limit, employer convenience meals, now non-deductible. Okay, so we've got the total amount here, and then I think the what this is telling me, since there's a 50%, I probably need a deductible amount field. So I'm just going to add another field here that's a number field, and we will call it deductible amount. And this, we're just going to real quick go in here, go to the edit property. We're going to turn that into US dollars. I'm going to give it 2 decimal places, and from there, when I describe the skill, it'll need to factor that in. So I'm gonna add that as another condition when I build this skill right here. So okay, so now I've got all this, and I'm just gonna add categorize expense, probably date, fields. Please note that the total I have it as amount, that the amount and deductible amount may be different. Please consult the table for more information. And with that, I'm just going to go back real quick to this, open back up my AI right here. Okay, cool. I got this nifty little categories thing, and okay, and I'm getting a flag here, by the way. One flag worth noting: business meals changed under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Great. Employer provided on-site meals are no longer deductible. Okay, so we won't know what that is. I'm just going to let my accountant deal with that later. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that table below. Okay, so essentially now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this up, and I am going to, you can write it if you want to write it, but I'm just going to talk to it. But I'll first just invoke to make it easier. So become Atlas. So Atlas is the most powerful AI inside of the SuperBrain. And I'm basically just going to first say become Atlas. And then I'm going to, once it says like, Atlas online, it's going to ask me some questions. I'm just going to say, hey, read all of this and build me a skill for Penny. And what I'm going to do is, okay, the new expense tracking database here. I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to link to the actual database. So mention this. Okay, so basically all I did here is describe what I wanted it to do. And it transcribed all of it, summarized all of it. And I'm going to now tell this Atlas because Atlas is online here. I'm just going to tell what I want to do. Okay, here we go. I would like you to review this entire page. Make sure to review the entire transcript in addition to the summary, but use the summary as your primary guidance. And I would like you to build me a skill and associate it with the role of Penny so that I can run an expense tracking skill and it will make uh, its way all the way into the expense tracking database so I can easily track any expenses. All right, folks. We're 10 minutes in because I took a little bit of a detour to explain some things, but this is it. It's going to go and build the whole thing now. So, aside from the uh, time it took me to spell deductible multiple times, all I really did here was I built a quick database, nice and easy one, had all the different fields that I would need in here. Um, and I had Scout go and actually get all of my expense categories, which is pretty easy. I can, I would go and check that, but my accountant would probably check it better than I. And this is still for me better than no expense tracking at all. So that's why I have this. And then basically what's going to happen here. So it's going to go through, it's going to do this. It's pulling the entire transcript. It's going to look at that. It's going to look at the schema of the expense tracking database, and it's going to go to the skills builder, and it's going to build a skill for me. Apart from you waiting and watching me do that, waiting for this all to work, it shouldn't take more than 2 or 3 minutes to completely, get to the end of building this. So I'm on a live stream, so I can't speed this up at the moment or pause it, but it's just going to be doing its thing. And if you were to click the exploring, you'd be able to see it. But so the way that I build a lot of skills is I actually have a workflow that incorporates both Scout and Atlas. And so if I wanted to build let's say I wanted to build an attorney or an accountant or a physical therapist or someone that I want to help me on my team as a role, as an AI role, I would launch this workflow. And what it does is the first thing that comes in is Scout. And I tell Scout what I want it to go and research. So it'll go and research, everything that um, uh, that role would need in order to be an expert at what it does. And then it would pass that off to Atlas. Atlas would then build the role, and then Atlas would look at all of the things that role needs to do, and it would recommend back to Scout. Well, between the two of them, they would decide, okay, well, what are all the skills that would be needed to be an expert in that particular field, and then Scout would go and do research on each and every one of those things. So let's say that we're building an accountant. It might look at how to reconcile, financial statements, or how to determine if something is deductible or whatever. So anyway, it's going back through here and it's just telling me, it's just reading back to me what it's doing. So then it would go out, Scout, and would go and do all of those individual pieces of research for each of those skills and create a page of domain expertise for that. It would then hand all of that back over to Atlas, and Atlas would then take all of that research and turn it into the individual skills. And it all happens automatically, basically. Just at the beginning, you say, here's what I'm trying to build. Here's what they need to be an expert in. Here are some of my specifications. And then the system would go out and do the whole work of building your team for you. So Scout will go out and do the research on what an expert in that type of role would need, would give a list of the different skills. Atlas would build out the role, put in skill placeholders. Scout's going to go out and do research on each of the individual skills so that each of those skills is built on expertise, and then Atlas builds the skills and references the expertise resources. And what you have is a full-on expert in whatever domain you're looking for. And so right now, I won't really bore you with the whole thing, but what it's doing is just building out the skill for the role of Penny. And when it's done, it would also update Penny's skill tree right here. So it would have the new skill that goes in there. It'll say, expense tracking skill. And then I would most likely just be able to launch it by saying, hey, Penny, I need you to track this expense. Or I could run the actual skill, say, run expense tracking skill or something like that. One of the other things I like to do, and I'll just show you this real quick while I'm waiting for, and the skill page is created. So I'll just show you that right now. Um, log expense. So this right here has its different steps like that it'll go through and what it'll do. It's got a pass fail gate so that it knows if it did it right. It's got the approved expense categories, all that stuff. So it looks like that's all good. I've just reviewed it. I'm going to put it into active. And that's for Penny. Let's see if it updated the skill tree yet. It doesn't look like it updated the skill tree yet. Please update Penny's skill tree. Okay, while it's doing that, here's what we're going to do. We're going to test this. We'll just see if it works. And so to do that, I'm going to open up the expense tracking here just so that we can see it happen live. But what I'll do on here is I will open up a new chat and I will just say, let's think of something I might have needed to buy. I did just buy a new mouse, actually. It's the Logitech MX Master 4. I don't like it as much as the old model, but that's besides the point. I think it cost me $120 or something like that. And I'll go find the actual receipt for it, but let's just use that as our standard. So here we go. I'm just going to do this by voice. Penny, I need you to log an expense for me. I recently bought a new mouse for my computer, the Logitech MX4 Master. I bought it at Staples, and I believe it was $129.99 after tax. I'll find the actual receipt and we can tag it later, but please log that to my expense tracking database. And let's see how well that worked. Because it should work. Man, I wish I could speed up life and live streams. Because, man, waiting is not easy. It's a book my kids have. Cool. Looks like the thing is all set up for it. So let's see how it goes. I have a tendency to do a little too much at once with Notion, so sometimes it hangs a little bit. But okay, there you go. Log expense is now tracked in there. Also, it should have the icon. Doesn't have the icon I like. Let's switch the icon while we're waiting for that. Archery. Nope. Arrow. Here we go. That's the one I like for skills. All right. There it goes. Penny, I need you to log an expense for me. I recently bought a new mouse for my computer. Looks like it logged into Flash because I didn't specifically tell it. But oh, I know where that went. I didn't tell it which company it's for. Aha. Okay, there we go. We'll say it was like 2 weeks ago. And now I'll come back to it, actually. Put it in here. So now we've got that. And equipment and technology. I didn't tell it anything else. I believe I paid with my personal credit card, so I got to be reimbursed for it. So there we go. So now I've got, and that was, pretty terrible example of me just reading to it, but I can take a picture of expenses now and it'll just throw it in there. And so I'm going to tighten that up, but that's basically the process that I go through anytime I need to build something. There you go. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna do more of these. I'm gonna get faster as I do them too, because I'll probably do better setup.